most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and with me, as always, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, brother?
We are doing fantastic on this Wednesday. Great to see you, brother. Little sun's out, guns out, I'm assuming, on your end. Let's go.
Let's go. You already know, man. Just got done with the gym. Body's feeling real warm right now, so I just didn't feel like putting on the sleeves, you know? Had to let these bad boys loose.
That's it. Let them ride, baby. Let them show. Get some sun on those pups.
Let them show. You already know, baby. So we are going to be covering UFC Vegas 90 today. This is an interesting card, to say the very least, in my humble opinion here, guys. A lot of really, really fun fights on here. Fun fact, the main event, this fight is headlined by Brendan Allen, the man in which this card is shaped around, as John Anik would say. I mean, this is our MMA of the Year award winner. This is the standout breakthrough, most improved fighter of the year last year. And, there are reasons for this. And this is a rematch, too, because it was not originally supposed to be against Chris the Action Man Curtis. No. It was actually supposed to be against a young man who hails all the way from Middle Earth. I'm talking about the man from Mordor. I'm talking about Marvin Vettori. Come on, guys. All jokes aside, that would have been a hell of a good fight. But this rematch, as Nano likes to say, does have implications. So we are going to start at the bottom of the card, as we usually do, and work our way to the top. Starting off with Melissa Dixon coming in against Nora Cornole. Nano, do you have any leather in this one?
Appreciate the hand toss here, brother. I don't have any game in the skin when it comes to a betting perspective here. I will lay off of it. This one's a little too close for my comfort, although Melissa Mullins, I'm seeing here on ESPN, maybe there's a name change, but I do see couple different names here. Same girl. Okay, same girl. No, a change of opponent here. I think just a change of a maybe marriage.
Change, but it's the same old thing, baby.
The same old thing, baby. Just like a chicken wing. But yeah, man, I think this is going to score off to be a good fight. Leading off the card here in the UFC Apex Center, Las Vegas. I think it's Apex 90, I believe we mentioned here offline. So UFC 90, we're itching closer to Apex 100. Wonder if we'll have a big event. Maybe we'll have a little show here on the MMA Stay tuned. But for now, we got to stay in the present. And yeah, man, I think this is an exciting one. The narrative here, both fighters are 1-0 in the UFC. So they're not necessarily household names just yet. They're not people that you may recognize on the street walking by. That's totally fine. No worries. Learn someone new. Make a new friend. Maybe follow somebody new. This is a great opportunity for us to get some exposure here. Starting with Nora, had a great performance in her UFC debut. Strong kickboxer coming out of France. A little bit of English she's working on as well. You'd love to see that in the press fight conference after a win. But she is tough, and don't get it twisted, Melissa Dixon or Melissa Mullins, both. Either way, Melissa, we'll just stick there. Very tough, traditional boxer. I'm excited to see this matchup, and I don't know where to lean, right? I mean, I'm coming from a boxing background. I typically will gravitate towards someone that has that footwork, someone that's comfortable in the pocket, is able to generate some of those quick strikes with power. However, Nora is very, very strong. She has that kickboxing background, so she'll be looking to throw the elbow strikes when they're in close. If they're at range, she'll be throwing a variety of kicks. And in her last UFC debut, again, she showed the ability to wrestle as well if need be. She does have a lot of ways to win, even though Nora is plus 270 odds. Again, I feel like it's going to be closer to that, so that's closer than the odds suggest. That's why I'm going to stay away from it. But curious to hear your thoughts, brother, if you think Melissa is the obvious favorite at a minus 360, undefeated. Tough, but what do you think, man? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I do think this one is a pretty close one, right? I don't think that it's going to be a landslide victory by any way, shape, or form. But I'm a little bit torn on this one, man. If I have to pick, though, I do like Melissa, Dixon, Mullins, Tanya, whatever you want to call her. Either way, the nickname stands. No mess. I'm a big fan of the saying, no fuss, no muss. I must confess, I like no mess. So gonna go ahead and go there. I do think that she is the slightly stronger woman here. And I mean, if we look at her previous fights, right? Melissa, no mess, Mullins, she's undefeated, right? She's 6-0, split right down the middle in how she finishes these things by either decision or KO/TKO. She's very strong. Looked really, really good in her last fight right before the UFC debut with the ground and pound finish. Just 1 second left in round one before she got that finish, guys. I mean, you love to see those types of, nail biters. Makes it to the UFC, fights Irina Alekseeva, and gets it done via unanimous decision. Now, Nora Canole, she's no slouch, though. Fighting out of France, she is a beast in her own right. She has only one loss and has one more win than her opponent. She does have a win over Jocelyn Edwards, which fairly significant. Looked pretty solid in that fight. But I don't know why, man. I think Mullins gets it done here, right? I think Mullins is the more well-rounded fighter. Probably going to knock her down and then finish via ground and pound. Maybe even get like a sweep or something up against the cage and then finish via ground and pound. Either way, I got Melissa in this one. Am I betting on it? Nah, fam, probably not. Moving into the next one, we got Josh Fremd. Just kidding. That one was canceled. We got Dylan Budka coming in against Cesar Almeida. What a name. Dylan Budka. Now, looking at the stats here, there's a 1-inch reach difference, a 1-inch height difference, and about a 12-year age difference. My goodness. That is definitely the biggest difference on the entirety of this fight. Looking at these young men's records, that's another pretty striking difference, right? The records are 4-0 versus 7-2. Now, if I told you, or asked you rather, without Googling, who do you think has more experience, the 36-year-old or the 24-year-old? You would probably say the 36-year-old. And you know what, folks? You would be wrong. That's right. You'd be wrong. 36-year-old only has 4 fights. So Cesar Almeida, Ceciña, as his nickname states, very, very interesting guy here. I don't know, man. I don't get it. There's some weirdness because if you go to his Tapology, there's a lot more than 4 fights listed under his pro fights. It's very weird to me. There's losses in there. I mean, obviously, I'm kidding here to some extent because those are kickboxing fights. But he's fought Alex Pineda, not once, not twice, but 3 times they fought, babe. Tough fights for him 2 out of 3 times, obviously. But he does have a win over Alex Pineda, and that says something. It is a decision win, so maybe not as impressive as a knockout, but impressive all the same. Nano, I'm curious to hear if you have a dog in this race or if you're betting on this one at all. How do you see this one going, brother?
Man, first and foremost, great breakdown. And you did your homework, brother. I'm glad that you mentioned he fought Alex Pereira. And yes, we are talking about Poatan, ladies and gentlemen. The main event at UFC 300. Absolute dog that came in here. Kickboxing prodigy. Legend. Yes, he squared off against him multiple times. And yes, he did happen to beat him. I love how you set that up. Yes, he may not be as decorated in the MMA octagon, but he does have a lot of experience in the kickboxing arena, okay? 47 wins, 27 TKOs, 8 losses, and 1 draw. I did do similar research to you as my brother, so I want to make sure we let y'all know that, hey, don't let the record fool you. He does have a lot of fighting experience, but that does also concern me. Okay, at 34 years old, you're squaring off against, 36. My apologies. I was looking at his opponent, Dylan Butka, who is 24. So we're looking at a 12-year difference. It's the old bull versus the young calf, ladies and gentlemen. It's story as old as time, okay? Now, this Dylan guy, 1-0 coming off his Dana White Contender Series victory. Dude is strong. That's why his nickname is the Mindless Hulk, which I don't know if you comic book fans out there, you're wondering, well, Hulk, it's pretty mindless. So I don't know if to be even more mindless, Hulk must be, I don't even know. Nobody's home at all. That's interesting to say, double entendre there. I digress. But yeah, man, this guy's strong and he fights downhill. Similar to the Hulk, he wants to get a hold of you, wants to smash you, wants to take you down. And that's typically what his style trends towards. So because of his wrestling background and because of what we've seen with a lot of kickboxers and people that don't have that wrestling pedigree, it ends up being one-way traffic or potentially even just a boring fight. Either way, I think Dylan Butka is going to find a way to use that length, that explosivity, that athleticism, and his wrestling and grappling advantages to find a way to edge out a win over a tough kickboxer here that we are talking about in Cesar. Haven't gotten to see a lot of him in the UFC. But a lot of tread on those tires. And again, it's different when someone's grabbing you, throwing you up against the fence, constantly getting it back down as you're trying to get back up. It's a different ball game. And I don't know if he's ready. I have to see it before I believe it. With that in mind, probably staying away. But if I'm leaning somewhere, it'd be Dylan, the betting favorite there at -150.
Solid breakdown. If I had to lean any which way, it would probably be towards Dylan Butka. I mean, yeah. Dylan Butka is he is the betting favorite for a reason here. And yeah, I mean he has goofy hair, but he's a pretty solid fighter. So gonna lean towards that guy. He does have more experience. And I think he probably ends up getting a takedown here and probably smash. So I see him getting that done. Probably getting a submission or just smashing from the top. Now, moving into the next fight, we have Dan the Man Argueta coming in against Jean Matsumoto. This is another interesting one in the bantamweight division. Nano, I'll actually pass it back to you. We'll let you take the lead on this one, brother.
Hey, thank you, brother. Thank you. This is a fun matchup, man. Dan Argueta, somebody that I was pleased to look at some of his highlights, although they are not all finishes. He does have a 9-1 record, 1 blemish there. But man, he's an absolute savage when he gets in the octagon. Really fun to watch. Again, keeps a high pace. Unfortunately, has a weird 1-1-2 record. And really, it's just bad luck. The first no contest was an early stoppage on paper, which I disagree. It looked like his opponent was tapping out or was on the verge of tapping out, but unfortunately got reversed to a no contest. Not on him. He did everything he had to do, whether it was the judge doing it too quick or it was deemed to have done it too quick. I thought it was in. You still got the position. That's a win in my book. But again, unfortunately, not in the records. And then the second one was a tough fight against a Miles John, who we've seen explode on the scene, proven to be a really tough guy. He lost that fight. It was an edged out, close split decision, but it was nullified because this guy, Miles John, was suspended after that, popped dirty for PEDs. So he was a little cheetah pumpkinita. Okay, let's not uphold that loss against Dan as well, which ended up turning into a no contest. I digress. He's, from what else I've seen from him, really, really tough guy, able to dig down deep, willing to make it a bloody fight. It makes for a really fan favorite type of fighter. 30 years old, 2 KOs, 4 subs. fighting off against somebody here in Gene Matsumoto, who is a young up-and-comer. Never heard of him, 24 years old, but a solid 14-0 record. You love to see that. 3 KOs, 5 submissions. So 8 out of 14 times, more often than not, he's going to not need the judges' help to get a victory. Is coming off a win on his Dana White Contender Series debut. You're going to hear that a lot tonight. That seems to be a common theme that I noticed here. A lot of fighters that are coming off Dana White Contender Series debuts or UFC debuts in general. So might be future stars we're talking about here. That's one exciting thing. It's like the NFL draft. It's like rookies of the watching the rookies play ball. It's like these are some future stars we're going to be watching here this upcoming Saturday. So keep that in mind. But again, Gene, from what I've been able to at least find online, again, only one performance in the UFC, but otherwise seems to have really good skills. Keeps a high guard, has some strong boxing skills, really good leg striker. I can't really poke too many holes. My only thing is I got to see it in the octagon. I got to see it do it against a legit bantamweight fighter. And that's what I feel Dan is. I feel like I might be taking the dog here. I usually don't like the older fighter, but maybe because I'm 29, I feel like 30 years old, he's still in his prime. Come on. But I've seen Dan face off against some really tough UFC opponents and hold his own. So and I haven't seen it from Jean or Jean. So until I do, I'm going to go with the older, proven veteran here, even though he's just had a little bit of bad luck, unfortunately. Don't let that record fool you. Just bad luck. What are your thoughts, brother?
Couldn't have said it better myself, my guy. This is exactly why you are the co-host with the most. We don't always agree, but when we do, boy, are we fucking hive-minding the shit out of this show. Guys, I like Dan the Man Argueta, a.k.a. Dan the Determined Argueta. He's 9-1. He's already been at the big show for some time. He competed in the Ultimate Fighter. Like, this guy is fun TV. And, I mean, come on. He competed in the Ultimate Fighter, made it to the finale here, I believe. He fought against Ricky Tercios and lost. Or no, he didn't make it to the finale, but he did lose to Ricky Tercios in there. Either way. After that, he strung together not 1, not 2, but 3 wins before coming in against Damon Jackson, who we'll talk about soon enough, folks. And then he went and fought, I mean, maybe your cousin, Nick Aguirre. And geez Louise, man, I mean, it was a fun fight. The dude definitely puts it on the folks that he fights. I agree here. The one that was kind of overturned, I did think it looked like a tap. So, yeah, I'm on his side there. And also, when it comes to Jean Matsumoto, we've seen him in his amateur career be finished. So even though he's undefeated, you know what I'm saying? 3 wins by KO, 5 by submission, 6 by decision, 0 losses in his professional career. His amateur career didn't end that long ago and only consisted of 1 fight. That 1 fight on his amateur career was just back in 2017, and he lost in 38 seconds via rear naked choke. So we could see it happen again. Dan's slick on the feet. He's even slicker on the mat. Fun fact, he actually trains with our boy Ian sometimes. I'm taking the dog here. You're giving him to me at plus 136. I'm going to drop a 1/5 of a unit on that one at plus 136. To put it into perspective, guys, a 1/5 of a unit here would get you almost half a unit. So why the hell not? Why the hell not, guys? We're going to go ahead and drop a 1/5 of a unit on there. No sweat off my back. And I think Dan gets it done in pretty decisive tradition here. Now, moving into the next one, we have Piera Rodriguez coming in against Cynthia Calvillo. Man, Cynthia Calvillo has had a rough run in the UFC. Just in mixed martial arts in general, she's had a pretty tough run of things. But I digress. We're here to talk about the fight that's going to take place on Saturday night, folks. That fight is against Piera Rodriguez, who is 9-1. Same number of wins as Cynthia, but 5 less losses, right? Cynthia coming in at 9-6, slight underdog. Sitting right now at plus 114. The line has shifted a little bit already into her favor. Now, the elephant in the room here, I should have really gotten an elephant sound effect. I'll work on that for next time. The elephant in the room here, I'm going to go ahead and address it now, is looking at their last 5. You know, Piera is 4-1 and Cynthia is 0-5. She has lost 5 of 5 essentially in her last 5 since 2020 to now. And again, she's the older woman here, 5 years older than her opponent. I mean, out of 1,708 people on Tapology, only 17% of them think Calvillo's got a shot. I'm with it. I think Rodriguez gets it done here. La Fiera, I just think Calvillo has looked like a shell of her former self in the last handful of fights that we've seen her in there. Recent losses to Caitlin Chukagian, now known as Caitlin Sarmanara, Jessica Andrade, Andrea KGB Lee, Nina Nunez, and Lupita Godinez. I truly think that if she would have fought Elise Reach, she probably would have lost that fight as well. And she also lost to Danielle Kelly in grappling. But I mean, let's be completely honest. 98% of the women in the UFC would as well. So that's not that bad. Her last notable win in the UFC was over Jessica Evil Eye, who big fan of hers. But you know, she has not been on the winning side of things either. She has lost her last 6 fights in a row. So, she does have a very impressive win over Vivian Araujo, does Jessica Evil Eye, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Cynthia Calvillo against Piedra Rodriguez. Now, Piedra Rodriguez only has 1 loss to Jillian Robertson. Every single one before that was a win. She fought Kay Hansen, beat her by unanimous decision. Fought Sam Hughes, beat her by unanimous decision. And on the Contender Series, fought Valessa Machado and beat her by unanimous decision. So, bit of a decision machine. Am I betting on this one? I don't know, man. I mean, Piedra Rodriguez seems pretty juicy here. Do I want to put a unit on her? I don't know. I wish that we could parlay things together in the same fight. Like if I could parlay Piedra Rodriguez and the over 2.5, oh, fucking sign me up. Sign that check. Yeah, give me Piedra in this one. I'm going to hold off on betting here, I think, because I don't know if I want to put anything on there. Minus 135 is not terrible, though. And I do think that she's looked really good. I might have to throw at least a half a unit on this one, guys. Nano, tell me how you feel.
I feel like I'm going to avoid it. I feel like it's hard to pick a dog in this race. It is almost a pick 'em in terms of the odds, plus 110, minus 130 for Cynthia being the underdog here against Piedra. And I feel like that's accurate. I mean, the truth of the matter is both of these women have had some great moments, but unfortunately have had more unfavorable moments in the octagon and unfavorable decisions when it comes to their win and loss records here. Speaks for themselves. It's tough to, at least for me, to validate putting money on one of them when I feel like both are not necessarily trending a good direction. I don't have a lot of good things in terms of the eyeball test to say, you know what, feel good about you. I don't know who's going to show up on either side. So that's where I'm just going to avoid it altogether. But both women are absolutely badass. Don't want to make it seem like I'm putting either of them down, but I want to root for Cynthia. Find out of San Jose. Hometown kid there, as always, want to represent Cali and going to be rooting for her, but it just feels like Piedra has more ways to win this one. They both have the same amount of wins. She's 5 years younger. She does have 5 KOs under her belt, so not only can she go ahead and put the mitts on her, but she does average over 3 takedowns a fight. So again, I just think she's probably a little bit too well-rounded, more passive victory here than an aging on a 5-fight losing streak, like you mentioned, Cynthia Calvillo. Unfortunately, just not the same version of herself at this stage. But that's all good. You know, we're going to see a good fight. Mad Max Meridian, what it do, baby? Great to see you, brother. Let us know if you have any picks. Let us know your thoughts. Feel free to roast us. Let us know. Good to have you. But yeah, I'm leaning Pierre as well, brother.
Yeah, I think Piedra gets it done here, guys. I think next time you're doing your breakdown, I might have to look up and see if there's any underdogs hot picks here that we want to throw down too. That might be a fun ride this week. Now moving into the next one, this is probably the first time I've ever seen this in my life. So, okay, let's go ahead and preface. We have a bantamweight bout between Pedro Falco and Victor Hugo. Pedrinho versus Striker. Right now, Hugo has a 100% chance of winning this, according to the people that have voted in Typology. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Now, looking at these guys' records, we got 24-4 coming in against 16-3. Big difference here is going to be the height. Obviously, 66 inches coming in against 71.5. That's a 5.5-inch difference, guys, if you're bad at math. And that's a pretty damn good reach for 135 in general. 71.5 inches. That's pretty good. And this is a game of inches, folks. So the height, this is the craziest thing as well. There's only a 1-inch difference. It's not like he's punching down or up. He's punching damn near straight, but he just has a 5.5-inch reach advantage. Sheesh. Sign me up for that one. There's a reason people think Hugo is going to win this one. I'm on that boat as well. Can't find any odds on this one online. I don't know if you see any, but I do like this fight. I mean, if we kind of go back and we look at their records a little bit deeper, right? Kind of what do these guys do when they're in the fights? Pedro Pedrinho, 6 wins by TKO, 1 loss by TKO, 5 wins by submission, 0 losses by submission, never been submitted, and 5 decision wins, 2 decision losses. I mean, the dude is fairly well-rounded. He's also riding a 5-fight win streak right now. Most recent one coming over Leonardo Morales in Tough Enough 134. Standing across from him, though, will be striker Victor Hugo, who is pretty well-rounded in his own right? 33% of his wins come by way of TKO. Talked about 8 of them. 2 losses there as well. 38% of his wins by submission. 9 wins by submission. And 1 loss there. And hell, he's even well-rounded in defeat. 1 loss by decision, 7 wins by decision. So again, really well-rounded. Now, the thing worth noting is this young man hasn't actually lost since 2014. And I don't know if you did your research on that, but it's been a long time. You know what I'm saying? Been a long time since he's lost. Very, very long time. And it was due to a rib injury in between rounds. The fight had to be stopped. So, could have been something that he carried into him in that fight. Don't really know. But I think that this fight is much better for him than the originally scheduled fight against Alatang. I think he gets it done again in fairly impressive fashion. So I'm going to go with Victor Hugo in this one. Who you got, Nano?
Nice, brother. Nice. So yeah, man. I mean, this one's interesting. I could not find it on my ESPN Fight Center, which is where I'm using all my stuff. So I had to go over to UFC. But there is a reason why, and it's because Pedro Falcao is an absolute freaking dog, okay? Breaking news, he accepted the fight today, ladies and gentlemen. That is why you're not seeing any odds on it, MMAnomaly. That is why I think Pedro's going to go in here and get it done. I mean, this dude's a beast, taking this on 3 days notice, excuse me. Man, although Victor Hugo is an absolute beast, no doubt about it. Man, I'm going to lean the guy that is bent on himself, that has a little bit more experience here when it comes to at least, well, not necessarily. I should take that back. He does not have more experience. Yeah, this Victor Hugo definitely seems like a beast. But hey, man, for someone to take it on 3 days notice, Pedro, to make his UFC debut this way as well. This is how legends are made. Victor is a beast, though. Submission win on his Dana White Contender Series debut back in October 2023. Very decorated record. Going to be able to probably bring those advantages and a full camp as an advantage here into the octagon. But again, man, I like what I'm seeing from Pedro Falcao in terms of the stats. Takedown defense is at 83%. I don't know if he's going to be a huge dog or not, but may just play devil's advocate here just because I like the idea of him taking it on 3 days short notice, making his debut. All the odds are against him, and we like our underdogs around here. So I'm going with the MMAnomaly and Pedro Falcao. But wouldn't be surprised if obviously the guy, Victor Hugo, like you mentioned, goes in there and gets the job done again. He has a full camp. Pedro has no reason to win, which is kind of why I'm rooting for him.
I'm not mad about it. Yeah, man, I love it. I'm happy to hear that you're going for the underdog there. You know me. I love a good dog. I love a good underdog story. Who doesn't? So we will go ahead and jump on into the next one. We got Norma Dumont coming in against Germaine de Randamie. This is a very interesting fight, my guy. We all know Norma Dumont for two reasons, right? She's the one that Laura Sanko said had cakes. And she's the one that made another professional MMA fighter run away from her on live television, giving us arguably one of the coldest actual pictures from MMA you'll ever see. So before I go off on my rant, Nano, do you have a dog in this race? And either way, how do you see it playing out, brother?
Man, I see this one playing out in a fun way. I see a lot of violence being had in this one. I think as much as I love a Germaine de Randamie, who is a legend in the sport, previous champion, 39 years old, only losses in the UFC literally to Amanda Nunes, who is the GOAT in the female, both divisions, just female mixed martial arts ever. She's the best women to ever lace them up. So the fact that that's the only person that she lost to, and that she made it really competitive one of those times. I love Germaine, but I just do not love this matchup with Norma Dumont. Okay, Norma Dumont is a beast. Okay, she's hitting the right trajectory in her career now at 33 years old. She's got that dumb truck like Laura Sanko prefaced. Okay, I'm just saying what she said. Cha-ching. But yeah, I think she's going to use her toughness, her durability, and her youth, and her willingness to grapple, take it down, make it muddy, and stay on the inside of Germaine de Randamie. I mean, she does not want to stay at bay. Germaine is one of the best strikers. Again, kickboxing, boxing. She's long. She's down to get the friction on. But with that being said, I think Norma Dumont's going to get the friction down on the ground, okay? She's going to get her down. She's going to get a lot of control time. And she's going to tire our girl Germaine out, in my opinion. But it's going to be a fun fight up until then.
I do think it's going to be a fun fight until then. I got Norma Dumont in this one. Big fan of cake and big fan of Norma Dumont. So, jokes aside, Laura Sanko's comments aside, as Mad Max Meridian said in the chat, just repeating Sanko's astute observation, that's all cake. You guys, again, Norma Dumont's no joke. Like, she's an absolute beast here. I think this is going to be no different of a fight for her. She is going to go out there against the Iron Lady and just destroy her, just like the nickname she has, the Immortal. She is a moderate favorite here right now on DraftKings Sportsbooks. She is a -155. I think I'm probably going to parlay her up on a little three-legger just for funsies, Nano. Don't call me crazy. But I think it's going to be a good one, and we'll see. We'll see how it turns out, boys. So I think Norma Dumont is going to grind out the kickboxing heavy Iron Lady here. Fighting out of the Netherlands is Germaine de Randamie. She will look to keep the fight standing. She will look to, dictate the pace, get a grindy, windy kind of finish here, or decision for that matter. I know her last win was a guillotine choke over Juliana Pena. That was a long time ago. And I just don't think that she's going to go out there and get a submission win like that again. In fact, that's her only submission win in her professional career. Norma Dumont, standing across from her, is somebody that is just an absolute beast. Coming on a 3-fight win streak. And these are recent wins, right? These happened in the last year and a half. Danielle Wolf, Carol Hossa, and Chelsea Chandler, not to be confused with Chelsea Handler. She also has a win over Aspen Ladd, who made her way on over to PFL after that fight. So her only loss in the UFC is Macy Chasson, who we've seen is an absolute monster in here. I'm definitely going to go with her here. I think Norma Dumont gets it done in emphatic fashion. Probably a very dominant decision win. Or I could also see her going out there and getting a submission over Germaine de Randamie. I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world. Let me jump in the chat here and see what we got. Mad Max Meridian says, man, I don't hate GDR here. Decision hedges is probably my play, but it's got me interested. Make sure you guys check out his breakdown. He usually does Whiteboard Thursdays. I'm sure he'll be doing a breakdown tomorrow on his channel at Mad Max Meridian on Twitch. Now, moving into the next one. This is another exciting one. We have some old dogs, right? We got Court McGee, who is an absolute legend. This guy's been fighting for a very long time. Is that a special appearance from Luna that I see?
Oh, yeah. We got Luna on the pod, y'all. Say, what up, Luna? Felt a little lick on my leg, and I thought, what is going on down here? I might as well get her comfy.
Let's go, baby. We love to see it. We love to see it. Glad to have Luna on the pod anytime, any day, any place. So Court McGee is an absolute legend. I remember choosing this guy on, UFC Undisputed 3. That's how long he's had skin in the game, so to speak. He's 39 years of age. He's no young spring chicken here. He's coming in against Alex Morono, who's also just a little hair over 30. He's 33 years of age, both standing at 5'9". Reach is fairly close as well, about a 3.5-inch difference in favor of Court McGee. Gosh, as much as I really enjoy Court McGee and watching Court McGee fight, I gotta think this is not a great stylistic matchup for my guy Court. I think Morono gets it done, and so do 94% of the picks on Tapology. We got 1,871 votes on this one. Half of them think he gets it done by decision. The other half think he gets it done by TKO. I also wouldn't be surprised if he got it done by submission. The guy is a submission stud, right? Got the guillotine choke real slick on Tim Means. And he does have the standing TKO on Donald Cerrone. The dude has gotten it done in numerous ways, right? In the UFC, he's been doing this for a very long time in the UFC as well, since the days of Fox, right? James Montessori, he beat on Fox. Fucking Kyle Noke, he beat on Fox on the Lawler versus Condit card a long time ago. So both of these guys have been in the game for a very, very long time. Now, Court McGee, notoriously, if he's going to lose, it's a TKO or a decision. He's never been submitted in his career. Probably why a lot of people are leaning towards the TKO or decision play here. Now, if we look at DraftKings, Alex Morono sitting at a minus 305 favorite. Gonna make up the third leg of my parlay, Nano. Gonna make up the third leg of my parlay. Gonna put Alex Morono on here. Gonna put Norma Dumont on here, and gonna put Piera Rodriguez on here. I like this. It's putting it at plus 280, and one unit will net you 3.8. I am going to go ahead and drop a half a unit on this one. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think all three of these fighters get it done. More confident in 2 out of 3 of them, but that's okay. We'll see how it plays out on fight night. That's why we do this, for the fun of the game. Nano, who you got in this one, brother? And are you putting any pennies on it?
Ooh, man, I would consider it. I think I like the parlay you got cooking up over there. Would maybe tail that myself if I wasn't co-hosting with you here. But yeah, brother, I do like Alex Morono here by a slight advantage over the veteran Court Crusher McGee. 39 years old, man. He has spent 14 years in the octagon. Love to see it. That is quite an accomplishment. Fortunately, the record isn't, the best showcasing of that 10-11 record, but he does have one big claim to fame, y'all. He beat Robert Bobby Knuckles Whitaker back in 2013. That's something you tell your grandkids about. You show the highlights and say, yep, I beat him. Me, Court McGee, beat that man. I am better than him. That's all you got to say. Just show him the tape. Speaks for itself. So awesome to see there, but he is on a 2-fight losing streak. How much does he have left at 39 years old? The body can only take so much damage. So that's my biggest concern here when you do got an Alex the Great White Morono in front of you. 33 years young, 23-9, 6 KO, 7 submissiones. This guy's good, man. Since he made his debut in 2016, that's 8 years ago, he's earned a 12-6 record. So he has more wins than our boy Court McGee. And he's only lost to tough guys. And he's always looked good. He's never looked out of place. He belongs here in the UFC. He's taking fights on short notice, maybe to his detriment. But I do think he has the chops here to get through a Court, the Crusher McGee. Though he does have 5 KOs and 5 submissions. Court does. Not worried by it. I think this will be a fun back and forth fight. The odds certainly suggest Alex is the heavy favorite. I think he should feel good putting that in a parlay for sure.
Yeah, man. I just think that parlay makes a lot of sense. Again, they're all favorites for a reason, all three of them. And if you pair them up together, you get a juicy little plus 280 on it. Why the hell not, kids? Why the hell not, kids? Speaking of juicy, Trevor Peek is back, ladies and gentlemen. Dude's last name is Peek for a reason, because he's Peak MMA. You know what I'm saying? He's very fun to watch. Also, shout out to Ian again, giving us the insider details. Trevor Peek been training with Dwayne Bang Ludwig. So that is going to be a very, very fun tale to see break down and to see play out. This guy is unpredictable chaos. Okay, just unpredictable chaos. Before I jump into his chaos, jump into the chat real quick. Thank you, Mad Max Meridian. He's had good breakdowns, both of you. Taking a page out of you boys' book. Got an idea for a parlay. Might have to try this weekend. Well, color me excited, my guy. I can't fucking wait to tune in tomorrow to your show and hear what kind of parlay you're cooking up. Might have to help you make a little graphic for that so we can post it on the Twitter, and me, Nano, and you can post up ours and have a little head-to-head parlay action on the Twitter or X, whatever the kids are calling it these days. I think it'll be a good time. Either way, Trevor Peek, ladies and gentlemen, Peak MMA, coming in against Charlie Campbell, who, I mean, that name sounds like for sure it's made up, right? He sounds like a sitcom actor from the 90s with that name. I'm not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it. 100% agreed. Peak is a madman. He is definitely a madman. Now, Charlie Campbell, in his own right, very good. 8-2, fighting out of New York. But he's coming in against a stud, fighting out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This dude is an absolute beast. I really, really like Peak in this one. I already was riding Peak's hype train. Finding out that he's training with Bang Ludwig. Just, I mean, come on, guys. If we're talking about riding the hype train here, and then finding out that they get an even better instructor than what they were working with before. Come on, brother. Pour the coal in that train and honk the horn. Let's go, baby. I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard that hype train. Give me Trevor Peek here. I think he gets it done by finish. He is an absolute madman. 89% of his fights have ended by TKO KO. All in his favor. He has only lost one time. It was a decision against Chepe Mariscal, who, fun fact, is someone we're going to be talking about in 3 fights. So, let's hear it, Nano. Do you have a dog in this race? Are you betting on anybody in this one? Because, I mean, I got to be honest with you, bro. Trevor Peek at dog odds. Fucking sign me up.
That's solid, man. It is. I mean, hey, man, Trevor Peek is a peak performer. He loves to go out and show out. 2-1 since entering the UFC from his Dana White Contender Series debut. Had a tough battle against a Chepe Mariscal, who we'll be talking about later on. Dude's an absolute savage as well. And I wasn't putting a lot of respect on Trevor Peek, but he did earn mine, okay? At first, I didn't love this guy coming out of Wigsky, Alabama, just throwing caution to the wind. I was like, I want to see a little bit more technique. I want to see a little bit more something there. But you know what? He gets the job done. He's a cool guy. You're someone you want to root for. I think I just had to get out of my own head here and realize, you know what? This guy's a beast. I don't know what I'm thinking, man. But he does have a tough challenge in front of him. So he has a Charlie the Cannibal Campbell, 6 feet tall. He's going to have a few inches of reach, both on the arm, but also just in stature. But Charlie, man, I mean, not someone we're necessarily too familiar with. He only has 1 fight in the UFC, and he was able to get a TKO in the first round. So I just don't know, man. His only other loss was a Dana White Contender Series loss 2 years ago, back in August of 2022. And it was against a Chris the Problem Duncan, an absolute beast, someone who fights and trains with Dustin Poirier and those boys out of that camp. So I don't hold that against the Cannibal here. I will just say the fact that he's the favorite must be saying something, right? Over a Trevor Peek, because I probably would have just assumed Trevor would have got the nod there. I'll be rooting for you and the underdog here, but this guy Charlie, he might be somebody. He's a eat or be eaten type of fighter, this Cannibal. So someone's losing a nub. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. I mean, he is an eat or be eaten kind of fighter. The win over Alex Reyes, the executioner, was definitely the most impressive one. I mean, just left hook followed by a right straight, bah, bah, right into oblivion. It was nice. You'll love to see it, but I just don't know that he's gonna be able to land that kind of stuff on Trevor Peek. Now, jumping into the chat, Mad Max Meridian said, "Fun fact: we were a Bang affiliate at my original 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu gym. I'm curious how to affect Peak. You boys think he's coachable? I do think that he's coachable. Judging by the videos that I've seen coming out, he already looks like he's improved, skill-wise, form-wise. And that Madman, I mean, I don't think it's going to take anything away from him. I think once the cage door closes, the Madman's going to come out to play no matter what. But tightening up some things, like when he throws, keeping the elbows in a little bit more so you're protecting the body. Little tiny, fine-tuning things like that, I think are going to go a long way with somebody like a Trevor Peek. That's why I got him in this one, guys. That's why I got him in this one. I am going to have to sprinkle a half unit on Peek here. Again, to put that into perspective, a half unit will get you 1.22 units here. I am throwing a half unit on Trevor Peek. Moving into the next one, we got Walter Walker, which is just a very fun name to say. Walter Walker. Walter Walker against Lukas Brzezinski. Both of these names are just very, very fun to say. Unfortunately, as fun as these names are to say, I don't have a ton of heat on this fight. I'm less excited about this fight than I was the fight prior. Nano, I'll let you take the lead here. Do you have a dog in this race?
It's an interesting one, right? It's an interesting narrative. The guy, Walter Walker, who doesn't have a picture, doesn't have any stats. He is a heavyweight fighter making his UFC debut. So what does he got, right? I mean, what does he have to bring to the table? Well, he's 26 years young. He is a statue of a man standing at 6'6" with an 81-inch reach. So curious to see how he actually looks standing against his opponent, Lukas, as Matt Max likes to say, he likes to typically wait till the weigh-ins, wait until the face-off, try to get a good look at how they are matched up against each other. Maybe you want to see that before you make any bets, because again, unfamiliar with these two guys for the most part. Not to mention, Walter did retire after his last fight in June of 2023. So what exactly happened there? I'm just curious what the motivation is, or what seems to be happening. Is it injuries? Was it just a mental thing? Curious to see all of that. Maybe you just want to get in the UFC. If that's the case, you made it. Let's see what you got. But Lukas Brzezinski, 31 years old, 8-4 record, 5 KOs, 2 submissiones. Man, Lukas is on a 3-fight losing streak. That's the only knock on him. 0-3-1 in the UFC, but 7 of his 8 wins are by finish. So the dude definitely has the power at the heavyweight division to put your lights out, and has the skills to defend himself and to make it a tough match for Walter Walker here, who, again, haven't seen enough of him, but when you're that freaking big and you're favorited, I guess, why not go for that guy? Give me some Walter here to vault into the heavyweight conversation.
Not mad at it. I'm definitely not mad at it, but I'm also the guy that, has to keep it real with you. So Lukas Brzezinski, he's been in the UFC. He's had the fights under the bright lights. He's fought Martin Bidet, Carl Williams, Waldo Cortez Acosta. Maybe not the most household names, maybe not the best names in the UFC, and he's lost all 3 of them. Make no mistake about it. But he's been here. Walter Walker is making his UFC debut. Most of his wins come over people I've never heard of. I will tell you, there's one name that I have heard of that he's fought against, and that was over Alex Nicholson. It's actually his most recent win. Now, Alex Nicholson is a name that you may have heard of because he's fought in a couple of different big organizations. He's fought in PFL. He's fought, if you go way, way back, he fought in the UFC one time, a handful of times, actually. A handful of times. He fought against Misha Serkinov, lost. Devin Clark, he beat. And then he got beat by Sam Alvey and Jack Hermanson before leaving and then going to Iron Boy MMA, Island Fights, Cam Soda, Legends. I mean, dude has fought everywhere outside of the UFC since getting cut. And his last win was over a guy named Prince McLean, who's 9-10. That's the last guy Walter Walker beat. So I'm just not impressed by his resume at all. Looking at the other people that he's beat, you got a guy that's 22-15. You got another guy that's 6-5. Just not impressive people that he's beaten, right? Now, Lucas Brzezinski, he's lost to the people he's fought in the UFC, but he still fought UFC caliber people. A Waldo Cortez Salsaboy Acosta, who's 11-1, looks like a monster, by the way. Carl Williams, 10-1, a monster, by the way. And Martin Bade, 13-2, kind of a fucking badass. That's literally his nickname. So here's the thing. And here we go. Leaves that chin way up in the air like his brother, too. So I just think Walter Walker is... I'm not impressed at all. I don't think he's going to be able to get much done in here. I don't think he's going to be able to get much done.
I think I'm already regretting that pick, but I hear you.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, and again, I don't know if you caught that in the chat, but that is Johnny Walker's brother. So it's interesting, right? Like,
is it really, or just from a chin perspective and stature?
No, it is. It is. They're brothers.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, Walter Walker and Johnny Walker.
Well, he might be just as chinny. That might run in the bloodline.
Yeah, I can try and save.
Damn, I didn't know that. He's a big boy. I'm watching his tape now. Not as skilled as a Johnny Black Label Walker is, but tough. And the last 4 fights are all in KOs, so he's got it.
He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
You got to think he's at least fought his brother growing up a little bit, even over a box of cereal or over the TV remote, maybe over women. So he's got to be somewhat tough, right?
I mean, yeah, you would assume so. But at the same time, like, I don't know, dude. It's
a big test.
It's a big test. It's pretty different. Yeah, and he looks pretty soft compared to his brother. And his brother also, just like Mad Max Meridian pointed out, his brother doesn't have the best habits in mixed martial arts, right? So it should be a tough test for him.
Fun one. Heavyweights. Big boys. Slanging and banging.
Mad Max said here again, he's got the power for sure, just an even sloppier version of Johnny. Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't watch a ton of tape on this one. I did know that he's Johnny's brother, but that's about the extent of it. I figure he's probably going to have a lot of the same bad habits. And I mean, you can't get away with that with somebody like a Lucas Brzezinski. This guy does have knockout power. 63% of his wins have come by way of knockout. You got to think he's probably going to go out there and get a knockout on this guy. So, jumping into the next one, guys. This next fight, we got Ignacio Bahamondes coming in against Christos Giagos. This is it's an interesting one as well. A lightweight bout, two guys that are unranked. Not super duper stoked on this one. 26 years of age coming in against 34 years of age. Also, the younger man has a, let's see here, a 6-inch height advantage. And somehow, some way, he also has a height or a reach advantage too. So, shocker there. He's got a 4-inch reach advantage. Bigger, longer, younger, taller, stronger. I'm going to have to go with Ignacio Bahamondes in this one. Minus 340 favorite here for a damn good reason. Yeah, I think I don't want to say it's going to be one-way traffic, but I do think it's going to be fairly close to one-way traffic here, right? No, am I wrong here? Are you going to convince me otherwise? Talk me off the ledge?
No, brother. I will jump off this ledge with you, brother. I will parachute dive right on into the Atlantic with you, man. Yeah, I do think that Ignacio. Let me rephrase. Ignacio. Channel a little Nacho Libre there. Yeah, I do think Ignacio is going to get it, though. Okay. 4-2 in the UFC. This man has beat Roosevelt Roberts, a Ultimate Fighter alumni that we may recall, big, lean, fighting machine. And he's also beat our boy, Coach Trey Ogden. And that is right on cue. I had the same reaction. I was going to say exaggeration, but I had the same reaction there, man. Very exaggerated, very animated. Like, oh my gosh, this guy beat who? He's legit. He's got all the skills. 26 years young, 14-5 record, 9 KOs, 1 submission. He's good, man. He's good. Now, Christos and Giagos is going to be a good test for him. This older gentleman at 34 years old, 8 years the elder. He's fought some tough guys. The 20-11 record, you look at that, you don't love it. But when you hear some of these names that he's fought, I mean, his UFC debut was against the one, the only Charles Oliveira. So that's not a first outing, not ideal. Okay. Then after that, losing to an Arman Sarukian
level fight.
No, brother, not at all. Talk about getting thrown to the wolves, literally. After that, Arman Sarukian, Thiago Moises, and then most recently a Daniel Zellhuber, who just outclassed him, unfortunately. Not Christos's fault. Christos looked good. The Spartan, I want to say he might have taken that on short notice. Either way, he's a good fighter, a legitimate fighter. However, going to take the heavy favor here in Ignacio. I think he's going to find a way to get it done. Might even find a finish here in this fight. He's that good. And he's young, so we'll be talking about him some mo.
We'll be talking about him some mo for show. You already know. And I mean, again, Christos, the Spartan Giagos, dude is no joke, right? As you pointed out, like, he has not had an easy run in the UFC. Intro fight to the UFC was against Charles Oliveira, who submitted him in the second round. He's also lost to Drakkar Klose, Arman Sarukian, Thiago Moises. He's fought Ricky Glenn and got a win over him. Sean Soriano. And I mean, like, the names go on. So he's not had an easy run. I think this is just going to add insult to injury. It's not getting any easier here, right? It is not getting any easier. I think this is he just drew the short stick here. He drew the short straw. Ignacio Bahamondes by knockout is probably the play here. I don't think I'm going to take anything in this one, but if I were, I do like that knockout line sitting at plus 140. The victory double chance here for Ignacio Bahamondes. So if you think he gets it done by finish, you can do to win by TKO, DKO, or submission. And that's at minus 120, which is a lot better than minus 300 and something, which is where he's sitting right now. So again, there's a reason he's a minus 340 favorite here. Moving on. Moving into the next one, we got Morgan Charrier. Charrier coming in against Chepe Mariscal. Oh, Morgan is a fun fighter to watch. Just going to open up with that. Morgan is a very, very fun person to watch here. And I'm going to let you go ahead and take the lead on this one, Nano. Do you have a bet on this one? Are you leaning either which way?
Oh, man, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. This is somebody in a Morgan Charrier, I had to look up, is a beast, and he's the favorite at minus 120. I was surprised to see that because I really didn't know who this kid is. At 28 years young, fighting out of Francois, obviously by the name, might give it away a little bit. He is 1-0 in the UFC, and he just looks violent, man. I was actually quickly watching the fight while you were talking there, and everything he throws is explosive. He looks like a strong athlete, and I think he does have some legit skills, which is, man, maybe why he's the favorite right now. Maybe they look at him and his pace and his ability to throw strikes in a variety of ways would give him the nod over a Chepe Mariscal. But when I think of Chepe, brother, I think of a freaking beast. Hey, Luna. Sorry about that. I think of an absolute beast, man. I think of somebody that is 2-0 in the UFC, already made a statement within those two fights. And personally, I'm a big fan, so I think I'm partially a little biased here. Chepe is an underdog. I think I will be riding out on this fight. 31 years old, 15-6 record, 7 KOs, 3 subs, very well-rounded. But again, this guy Morgan, man, 19-9 record, 11 KOs, 3 subs. He has the ability as well. I don't freaking know, man. I'm leaning I'm leaning my boy Chepe, but this guy Morgan, the last pirate, Charrier, he might be somebody. He kind of has that look. Again, just the eye test tells me there might be something special here, but I got to see it first. So I'm going to go the underdog. I'm going to go with my boy Chepe. I'll happily do a shot next week if I lose, knowing that we might not have a new guy in the featherweight to be talking about. So it's a happy consolation prize knowing that there might be a new contender lurking around. Chocolate-vous.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll gladly put a shot against you, my guy, because I got Morgan Charrier. I really like the Frenchman. The last pirate, as he's called. I mean, yo-ho, and a shot of rum. I think it might be time. Morgan Charrier, the last pirate, is one of them guys that you definitely should be watching. Now, in his last 3 fights, they were all 3 stoppages. Pedro Souza, he got the doctor stoppage at the end of round 1. Diego Silva, he was able to put away in the 3rd round with punches. And the last one, Manolo Zecchini, in the UFC, making his debut in the UFC. It was on the undercard of Ghana versus Spivak back in 2023, September 2nd. And he got it done by a vicious body kick. Just ripped the body with one of those kicks, shut down his opponent. I think this is probably going to be another one like that. I do like the machine gun, Chepe Mariscal. Dude's an absolute beast. Typically gets it done more often than not, right? He has a winning record, 15-6. 47% of those wins coming by way of knockout, 20% of them by way of submission. He is on a 5-fight win streak currently. The 3 most recent ones coming over Guilherme Faria, Trevor Peake, who we were just talking about recently, and Jack Jenkins, the leg destroyer himself. Call me crazy. I just think the last pirate is going to go out there and get this one done, man. I think it's going to be a tough one, but I still think he's the stronger guy. Again, looking at the age here, he's slightly younger and the reach is exactly identical. He does have a 1-inch height advantage here, which will help him slightly for the legs, or for the kicks rather. He has a decent leg reach here. So yeah, give me the last pirate in this one, guys. Shout out Drew. What up, brother? Welcome. Just dropping by. What's up, fellas? Happy to have you.
What do you think about free agency football? Talk to me, Drew. How you doing? If you're still here.
ADHD MMA. Got to sleep for work. Have a good night. Shout out Olin. Shout out.
Thanks for stopping by, ADHD. What it do, baby? And get some good sweet dreams, by the way.
Curtis out here. Chepe delivers as a dog. You love to see it, baby. You love to see it.
Hell yeah. Curtis with a K. I agree. Chepe will deliver, baby.
And by you love to see it, I mean you. Like, you love to see it.
I do. Yes. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I like Charrier in this one. Yeah, I mean they're pick 'em right now. It's not even a Vegas favorite or anything. They're literally a pick 'em right now. Yeah, we might have to do a little old-fashioned DraftKings you, me versus Mad Max. Versus me versus Mad Max. Mad Max has just been taking our money in those.
Yeah, it's been bad. We got to redeem ourselves here.
It's been bad, guys. It's been bad. I feel like we should have to do a shot for that one. Fucking just.
I'm ready.
Addressing the elephant in the room. Mad Max has been destroying us on those.
I think he cheats, but it's fine.
And he's won all 3. He definitely cheats for sure.
Yeah, but we still love him.
Knowledge.
Yeah, it's fine. We still fight the good fight. It's like he missed weight, but we're still gonna fight. We're not gonna say no. Yeah, we did training camp. Yeah, not a bitch. Cheers, brother. All jokes.
To Mad Max and his winning ways.
He wins fair and square. DraftKings can confirm this.
Facts.
And his bank account.
He does make it count, guys. This next one is my sleeper fight of the night. Definitely my sleeper fight of the night, guys. We got Alexander Hernandez, the Great, coming in against Damon Jackson. This one is really fun for me. Damon Jackson is one of those guys that, whether you bet on him or against him, you're probably going to lose money. He's just one of those guys that's sneaky and consistent, but he's very fun to watch fight. I can't get enough of it. He's just, I don't know why I enjoy it. And I also don't know if you saw, but he just obviously took a trip to Turkey because, he went from the guy that gets accused of sexual harassment at the office to the guy that gets a date.
Nice. You got a new top cap. You got a new weave.
All of that, nice. Bro. It looks nice. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of the better looking ones. So they really need to update that topology picture for the man.
That might be out there. I might be making a trip to Turkey soon. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying, brother? I'm trying to go down to Mexico, get them stem cells.
Oh, hell yeah!
We've been talking about it. If you want to come, you let me know.
I don't need the stem cells, but I will take a trip to Mexico anytime.
Curtis in the chat here. Did he get hair transplant or am I nuts? No, yes, he definitely did.
You're right. Hell yeah.
So, yeah, this is a very, very sneaky, fun fight. Alexander Hernandez, obviously the guy that said he was going to send Cowboy Cerrone sailing off into the sunset on his horse and put another feather in his cap. We saw that went for him. He got subbed. It was gross. You love to see it. One of Cowboy's last better wins. Now, since then, the young man has looked really good. So good, in fact, that the great ape Hernandez has a 73% pick rate here out of 1,948 picks on Tapology that think he's going to win. If you look at the odds makers think that Alexander Hernandez is going to win as well. As I stated at the beginning of this breakdown, guys, Damon Jackson's one of those guys that for me, whether I bet on him or against him, I've lost money, Nano. I've lost money, viewers, listeners. As we hear in almost every single Lifetime movie that's ever existed, I think I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm probably going to bet on Damon Jackson here, guys. Plus 164, you're giving me the leech at dog odds. Fuck. I love to see it. He's got 15 submission wins. And our guy, he got subbed by Cowboy. So, wasn't it? Didn't that what happened? Didn't he get subbed by Cowboy? Or no, Cowboy knocked him out. I forgot. Cowboy knocked him out. I don't know why I thought Cowboy fucking subbed him. You're on mute, by the way. No. But it's all good. I saw your lips moving. The light was on, but nobody's upstairs. I still can't hear you. It's your mic. Think. Maybe. Possibly. Nothing. Can't hear you. We're having technical difficulties. So I'll go back into talking about the leech here, guys. In his last handful of fights, it's been kind of tough, right? He fought Billy the Squid Quarantillo, handed him a unanimous decision loss. He looked really good in the beginning of that fight, but Billy just started to take over there in the second half and really made it evident that he was going to be the victor of that fight on that night. And before that, of course, we know he fought Dan Ige. Again, looked pretty good in the first round there, but Dan Ige started pouring it on aggressively in the second round and ended up getting a nasty little cameo appearance from Left Hook Larry. We love to see that. We just fucking love to see it. But before then, he looked really good. Wins over Charles Rosa, Kamala Kirk, who was definitely on the up-and-coming kind of stage, and Dan Argueta, who we just talked about earlier, as well as a ground-and-pound win in the very first round over Pat Sabatini. I like Damon Jackson in this one. Give me that guy. Give me that guy all day. I think Nano's back with the mic. He's back.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can. He's back.
Hell yeah. Thank goodness.
We did it, guys.
But there's a will, there's a way. Come on. You're going DJ. That's your DJ. Go DJ. Now 101. I don't know if he's the hottest under the sun right now, brother. I do like Damon Action Jackson. He does bring the action when he's in there. Since his debut in 2020, he is 5-3, 35 years young. I'll give him that. 22-6, 4 KOs, 15. I'm gonna say 15 submissions, y'all. 15 out of 22 wins are on the ground. He's slippery, brother. He's slippery. That is probably going to be his best path to victory because he is going up against a tough striker in Alexander Hernandez. 31 years young, 14-7, 6 KOs, 2 subs of his own. He is an even 6-6 since his debut. Oh my gosh, 6-6 since 2018. He beat Benil Dariush in his debut. That's fantastic. Beat legend Jim A10 Warthog Miller and some other high-level guys as well. So I am probably going to lean the young buck here. We are going to have to diverge our fork. There is a fork in our roads here. We are going to have to go our separate ways, unfortunately. But this is going to be a fun fight for us fans. It is co-main event for a reason. Get tuned in. Get your popcorn ready because you're going to see some knuckles thrown. You're going to see some blood drawn. And you might see somebody get tapped out. I just hope it's not my boy. But give me Alexander.
Well, I'm going to put a little skin on it. I'm going to throw a tiny bit here. I'm going to throw a fifth of a unit on a 2-legger. Okay. I'm going to do Morgan, the Last Pirate, Charrier, and Damon, Action Jackson. So you pair those two together and you get plus 393 here. Juicy juice. So again, you put a fifth of a unit down and you get damn near a whole unit. You get literally 0.98. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a fifth of a unit down on this one. I'm feeling good about it. We're just trying to stack these wins and build plus money for the year. So,
and pay off that hand transplant. There we go.
let go. You already know, baby. So, yeah, man, love to hear it. Love to see it. And with that being said, I mean, you already know what time it is. I'll let the man say it himself. It's time for the main event, folks. It's time for the main event. It's our guy. It's our fucking guy, Brendan All In Allen. This is a much worse matchup than the originally slated one, in my humble opinion, just because he already has a loss to this young man. And also, I'm pretty sure this guy's number 14. The guy that he was fighting was going to be pretty much a guaranteed title shot if he got the win. So, very interesting one here. Very interesting one. I'm going to let you take the lead on this one because I'm curious to hear who you have genuinely in this rematch between Chris, the Action Man Curtis, and Brendan All In Allen, who's making his way to the UFC game very soon.
Absolutely. I love that too. Big shout out to all the fighters joining the UFC game. Our boy Randy Rude Boy Brown was on there as well. Best believe we'll be playing with him too. But yeah, man, Brendan All In Allen, brother. I do think this fight has a lot of freaking juice behind it, ladies and gents. This is a rematch. This is one of the only losses that Brendan Allen has had in the UFC octagon. He is 12-2. Yeah. Extreme Couture has his number. Sean Strickland also beat him. There must be something about that style that I think he's understood to this point. He has gotten better. He's learned from those 2 lessons, and I think that's the most important thing. And I do think Brendan's getting him at the right time. It's the right place at the right time. Brendan was preparing for somebody else. We get that. Got a little bit of a switch up. Chris Curtis always ready to swing and bang. So no surprise he's going to take any fight, any day of the week, twice on Sunday. But yeah, I am going to lean our boy Brendan All In Allen. I am all in on our boy. He is the MMAnomaly Award for Most Improved Fighter, and I think that was for good reason. I don't think our community here got that one wrong. I think we chose him for the right reasons, and it's because he's made the right adjustments. This loss to Chris Curtis was back in December of 2021. Since then, he has rattled off 6 wins in the division here, one of them being over a beast, Paul Craig. So I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it. Now, Chris Curtis has had some great moments since 2021 as well, going on to win after that against Rodolfo Vieira, but he's had some losses too. Let's not get it twisted. He's lost to Jack Hermanson, who is a tough, well-rounded fighter, and he lost to Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum there got a win over Chris Curtis also. That was probably one of the best versions of Kelvin we've seen in a long time. But again, I think Chris, at this stage in his career, man, does he have what it takes to compete with a Brendan All In Allen, who I feel like at this point, let me quickly pull up his age here. 28 years old. Oh, he's just scratching the surface, y'all. So he fought Chris Curtis when he was 25. He's still a baby. He's still on his parents' cell phone plan, okay? He's still on his mom and dad's insurance, okay? He's now a grown man. He's a big boy. He's ready to let loose. Got to get a kick out of you. That's a good one. Eh? He's right there, right at the cusp. Give me Brendan All-In Allen, brother. Well, you gather yourself, man. What do you think, man? Talk me out of it, or are you going to ride the wave with me, baby?
I'm all in, baby. I'm all in on Brendan All-In Allen. You definitely got a good laugh out of me with he's on his parents' cell phone plan. That shit was funny as hell. Yeah, man. I like Allen in this one. Like you said, he fought him when he was just a baby. 1,830 people have voted on this one, and just 20% of them think Curtis has a shot in this fight. Mind you, out of that 20% of people that voted that way, 80% of them think he has to get it done by knockout. Gotta agree here. I think his only path to victory is a knockout, because otherwise, we're all in on Allen for a reason here, folks. And he's gonna get it done. He's gonna get it done. Now, let me tell you a little story, okay? Kelvin Gastelum, who has not looked that great in recent years, has a decision win over Chris Curtis just a year ago. Almost a year ago to the day. You don't think that fucking Brendan Allen can do that to him? Kind of batshit crazy, my friend. I'm calling a spade here. Brendan Allen, he is the better fighter these days. He has improved vastly. I think that if you put him in there with Sean Strickland on Saturday, he beats Sean Strickland.
Ooh-wee. I'd love to see that next. Love to see that next.
That's stacks, bro. He's going on a revenge tour. And he's going to get it done. He's going to get it done in emphatic fashion. I think he goes out there, realistically, I think he goes out there on Saturday night and gets it done by submission. Right now, he's sitting at a minus 205 favorite here. If we go to the winning method, double chance of victory, you can get him by finish. So Brendan Allen within the distance. So to win by KO, TKO, DQ, or submission, plus 130 in a 5-round fight against somebody who fades in the 3rd round typically. Yeah, give me that.
I like it. And
I say Chris, give that all fucking day, baby. I'm going to put 2 units on it.
Hey, why not? Chris Curtis, 36 years old. That is typically when athletes do start to decline. It's just a fact. And all the wear and tear, the way that Extreme Couture trains, we know these guys get after it. It might make them as great as they are, but again, you can only take so many punches. Your body can only do so much. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of that decline, which is just in the right time when Brendan All-In Allen is starting to hit his best version of himself. You mentioned the submission game as well, brother. Wouldn't be surprised if Brendan All-In Allen does have 14, might make it a sweet 15. Boy, oh boy. I mean, and that's where Chris struggles. If it gets to the ground in any capacity, he is in deep water down there. So I do like that by TKO, DQ, KO, or submission as a double method. If you do ride the wave like we are here and going all in, push those unis in, brother. Let's go.
Yeah, like part of me wants to really go like 3-4 units on this one, if I'm being honest with you, but I'm gonna refrain. I don't know if you guys have seen the UFC 300 episode. We uploaded it earlier today. Make sure you check it out. It's up on the YouTube. I'll try and get it uploaded onto the Twitch as well for you guys on Twitch. But again, we do a lot in on that one, I feel like. So going to refrain a little bit on this one. I don't want to go heavy on every single card. But when I am confident on something, I'm going to throw at least 1 to 2 units in there. And this is one that I'm fairly confident in. Not only do I think that Brendan Allen gets it done, I think Brendan Allen gets it done by finish. I think he gets it done inside the distance. And I could be wrong, but probably fucking not, kids. So I'm throwing it all in on Brendan Allen. 2 units inside the distance, plus 130. To put that into perspective, 1 unit will get you 2.3. 2 units will get you 4.6. So 2 units on Brendan Allen. I'm definitely riding that train. He's a dog in there, man. And he's the type of dog you can get behind. So that's it for this fight card, guys. We got through it pretty damn quick, honestly. I am going to be out of town, actually out of the country next week. So going to be going on a little vacation, have a little bit of fun. And that's why we uploaded the UFC 300 episode ahead of time. We are going to be taking the week off next week. It's also my birthday the day I get back on Friday. You know what I'm saying? Shout out.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah. And then the next day, get a little early birthday present. Or a little late birthday present, rather, the day after. UFC 300, guys. Again, latest fair horn. Guys, this fight night, people are saying it's watered down. It's not that great. It's fucking phenomenal, considering UFC 300 is next weekend. Get off your high horse. Enjoy the fights that we have. Not every single one of them can have like 15 fucking headliners across an entire fight night. So take it for what it is, which is a really fun, free fight card that you can still bet and hedge and bet and win a lot of money on. And until we come back here after UFC 300, which, again, guys, we only have one fight night after UFC 300 before it's UFC 301. Are you fucking kidding me, guys? Like, UFC 300 and UFC 301 are so close to each other. They're staring each other down in the middle of the damn desert, 5 paces away from one another. So, guys, lot to break down in the upcoming weeks. Going to rejuvenate, going to refresh, going to reset. Make sure you check out the preemptive UFC 300 episode. Make sure you let us know who you're betting on this week in the comment section below. And as we always say, whether you're new, old, returning, somewhere in between, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications. Keep on going, keep on growing, and we will see you next time.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.